TPR continued, we devotees in the hall knew what reply Bhagawan would give. Bhagawan indeed gave the very same answer. Bhagawan looked at the man very compassionately and posed a question. Who is the Father? Who is the Son? What do you mean by relationship between father and son? What do you actually mean by rebirth? If you understand all this, you will understand the depth of what you are asking for. The man prostrated before Bhagawan and said, I do not understand all this, Bhagawan. I only want one thing. I want to see my son. Bhagawan then did something remarkable and unusual. He got up from his seat, raised his hands and said, Yes, I will give it to you. I will make you see your son. You will see your son in your next life, as clearly as you have seen him in this. The officer became extraordinarily happy and fell at Bhagawan's feet several times. Feeling highly elated, he left the hall. The others in the hall, including TPR, were concerned and worried. TPR asked, Bhagawan, how could you give him such an answer? This is against your own teaching. Your teaching postulates that there is no birth and rebirth. When even this body is not born, where is the question of rebirth? Bhagawan turned to TPR and said, What am I to do? Had I not given him this answer, he would have been shattered. TPR complained, I am not happy because you should not have condescended like this. Bhagawan, noticing their unhappiness and disappointment, suggested, Go and get the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagawan chose a passage from it and asked TPR to read it out aloud. In that passage, Lord Krishna says that knowledge should be given according to one's ability to grasp it. If one teaches philosophy to those who are not ready to receive it, their faith will be totally shattered. TPR concluded by saying, This is Bhagawan's compassion. I then prodded him to tell me about the other kind of compassion, the transforming one. This is what TPR recounted. Arvind Bose was an industrialist. He was also an intellectual and an ardent devotee of Bhagawan. He was drawn towards Bhagawan's teaching of self-enquiry. He began an industry in Bangalore, which is well known even today. He came to visit Bhagawan every week and would also bring along some of his friends. Bose had a son who was around 20 years old at the time. He was a brilliant young man. Bose wanted to hand over the management of the factory to him and then settle down at the holy feet of Bhagawan. However, the boy suddenly died and Bose was inconsolable. Many of us went from Ramanasramam to console him. We talked about all the theoretical aspects of Bhagawan's teaching, but it was of no avail. We felt that he had to be brought before Bhagawan. Since very rarely were there people in the hall between 12 and 2 in the afternoon, I brought Bose to Bhagawan then. Bhagawan instructed Bose to sit close to him and continued looking at him. Bose was in physical and mental anguish. He was restless. He could not even open his eyes. Bhagawan focused on him, and ultimately Bose opened his eyes. He managed to look at Bhagawan, and Bhagawan continued looking at him. After some time, this shook him up, and he shouted at the top of his voice, Bhagawan, is there God? His voice was filled with the pain and agony of his loss. Bhagawan continued to look at him. Then Bhagawan said, Bose, your question itself has the answer. He had shouted, Is there God? There is God. For 5 minutes there was absolute silence. Bhagawan continued to look at Bose, and Bose, too, looked at Bhagawan. TPR observed all this from outside the window. He noticed a change in Bose. He became his normal self and prostrated before Bhagawan. Bose smiled for the first time and said, Thank you, Bhagawan. TPR said, This is the compassion of Bhagawan. We cannot understand what took place between Bhagawan and Bose. He asked the question, Is there God? And Bhagawan answered, Your question itself has the answer. The answer was intellectual, but the compassion was overwhelmingly healing and absolutely solid. Bose remained a great devotee of Bhagawan. He had already built the Bose compound, which has many cottages for devotees to stay in. Even TPR stayed there during his last days, until I brought him back into the ashram. Bhagawan used to get up at 3:30 in the morning. He would go up the hill around 5 or 5:30 in the morning. He would take his bath around 6. He would have his breakfast at 6:30. He had a routine. So I used to tell TPR, our Bhagawan is very predictable. whereas all the other great masters like Sheshadri Swami and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa were not. TPR said, "Do not talk like that. You can never predict a jnani." He added, "I am going to narrate some incidents. I want you to analyze whether you have understood them or not. There was once a Swami from North India. He was old and had stayed on for a few weeks. He must have been a ripe soul because people could see an aura around him. On the day he was leaving, he stood before Bhagawan. I, too, was beside Bhagawan. The Swami said, 'I am very happy, Bhagawan, that I got all that I wanted after coming to Arunachala and to your ashram. But I need 2 more things to be fulfilled, and they can be done only by you.'